Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card video. Today I'm sharing a Shake card using the newest June, my monthly hero kit that is being released today at 1 p.m. So let's take a look at the kit. It comes with 6x8 stamp set. It's full of little cats and dogs, coordinating dies, their little clay sprinkles, and also there is a little ink pad that comes in the kit. Here's a card that I made the other day for the countdown. So there are other products being released. This is the Birthday Stamp and Cut XL. So here is a sample. We have the candles and a bunch of balloons, bold prints, birthday balloons. This is a bunch of balloons, stamp set and coordinating dies, color layering cupcake, party animals. Also comes with coordinating dies. We have streamer stencil there, birthday panda. This is a birthday background die, birthday pop-up, birthday cake pop-up die. Here's the sample. I also will have video shortly. We have number candles and again the streamer stencil. So let's get started. I'm using my Misty tool and I'm gonna stamp a couple of the images that I will use them for my card. I'm using my anti-static powder tool to condition my watercolor paper. I'll use this bunch of balloons and the little dog. So I'm using intensified black ink and I'll stamp a couple times, and then while the ink is still wet, I'll emboss using the ultra fine clear embossing powder. I'm just cleaning my stamps here. So here is my ultra fine clear embossing powder. I applied it over the images. I'm using now my heat tool to heat set that. I'm starting from the back of the paper to kind of capture that embossing powder and to heat up the heat tool so the embossing powder doesn't fly away. Next, I'll quickly watercolor my images. I'm using Canary markers, but you can use any watercoloring or any coloring medium of your choice. If you decide to color with Copic markers or any alcohol-based markers, you don't need to emboss, you don't need to stamp on watercolor paper. You can stamp on alcohol marker friendly cardstock. Again, you can use the intensified black ink because it's waterproof and it's also alcohol marker proof. The problem with coloring with Copic markers on watercolor paper is that the watercolor paper is thicker and sucks up all the ink from the color. Also, it will cause bleeding outside those stamped lines. So I'm applying the marker directly onto the paper, and then I'm using a paintbrush to spread that ink, and while it's still wet, I'm adding a little bit more of the marker where I want to be darker. I'm almost done here with the balloons. Now I'm going with the green. I decided to go yellow, orange, kind of coral, pink, green, and blue. And then I decided to go, instead of coral, in a little bit you will see me, I will apply more bright pink because the orange and the coral were very close in color to each other. Just adding little brown areas to the little puppy. Now I'm going with gray for the shadows, so it's kind of more of a white and brown puppy. Now I'm quickly drying that with my heat tool. I'm lining up my coordinating dies that come also in the kit. By magic of YouTube, I have already that die cut. So I'm using here mist cardstock for my for the back. I'm just trying to decide whether I want the frame to be blue or I want the background to be blue. I decided to go with blue frame, and again the color of the cardstock I'm using is mist, and I use one of the round rectangle dies to create that window. Next, I'm using the little paw print stamp and embossing and watermark ink just to stamp over that frame to create a little bit more interest so it's not very plain blue. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, next I'm adding some double-sided tape on back of that frame, and I'm gonna adhere a piece of acetate. I'm trimming it to size. So now for the background, I'm using the birthday balloons bold prints to stamp on the background. First, I'm stamping with soft granite ink. Then I decided to stamp another background with soft wool and see which one I like better for the background. I decided to go with soft granite, as you will see in just a minute. Kind of create a little bit more contrast with the light blue frame on the front. So now to create the shaker, I'm using foam tape and I'm doubling it up. Then I'll cut it in half because I need thinner piece. The foam tape I have it's 3¼ inches wide, so I cut it in half and I'm adhering around that window. Just trying to switch over, see which background I like better. I think that looks good. Now I'm just going to trim it a little bit, so it's a little bit smaller than our front piece. Our front piece is 4 by 5¼ inches. I removed the backing of the foam tape and I added the little sprinkles onto the background and adhered the frame on top. So now here's where I'm adding kind of bright pink to the coral balloons to change the color a little bit and create a little bit more contrast. I'll quickly heat set that. I had a little bit of white cardstock from the background peeking through there, so I just trimmed it out with my scissors very quickly. I'm adding again double-sided tape on back of the doggy and back of the balloons and adhere that to the window. Next, what we have left is to stamp a sentiment. So stamped it with Watermark, with embossing and Watermark ink, and I'm using detailed white embossing powder to emboss that. I'll go with my paper trimmer and trim that to size. I'm just adjusting the length of that strip to go just behind the dog. I'm adding again double-sided tape and here into the frame. So our shaker is pretty much done. What we have left now is just to adhere it to a top folding Dove white note card. I'm adding precision glue on the back and adding it to my note card. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check my blog for more ideas and more inspiration, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Bye!